You've been developing a software project for years. It's actually really good. It's far better than what most people are using. You're passionate about the subject and had the flexibility to make generational improvements because you were not limited by industry convention. You're smart, and a lot of that brilliance made it in there too. You love working on it. That's why you did it. But one day you get curious. Could I pitch this to a company out there and partner with them or something? You think about it and decide, if I make it open source, that would make it easier for me to show off what it can do. I'll provide a dual license so companies can still improve and sell their version of it, and I can help. You love doing this. Getting paid for it would be awesome. Everybody would win. It is really simple. You provide your work and innovation as a dual license open source. It improves the company's business model and efficiency. You help them with consulting. They compensate you for your time. If they want to use what you've done in a way open source doesn't allow, they purchase a private license, or even buy my work outright. This is basically what every for-profit open source project does, right? Simple, proven. Well, you might do that sometime, but you don't even know where to start. Back to real life. Some time goes by, and by chance, you actually get in touch with just such a company. Out of the blue, you weren't even looking for it. They actually are looking to innovate, or so they say. They see that the industry is stagnant and ready to be rocked by some changes. Or maybe they just want to cut their current supplier out of the middle and make more money. Innovation might not be the real goal. We'll never know. They don't know that you have all this technology. You just look really good on a resume because you have all the right skills and experience for the job. At this point, you've put a considerable amount of effort into what you've created. What do? You're a great fit for the job. Naturally, with one word, you can take it. You have a slightly unusual interview with them. You try to indicate that you have more than what they might suppose in the form of source code that you've written, but they're really not interested. Since you're really good at the subject, they present some ideas about how they're going to try and solve the problem and ask for you to comment on them in a future interview. This is not a normal interview technique and might very well be idea harvesting. But heck, their idea is not actually very good. It's not. But it does give you an unexpected opportunity to present what you have. So in the next interview, you present why their idea is not very good. You also present how the problem actually should be solved. At the end of your slide, you state the fact that you've done a lot of what was on the diagram already, and that they should really consider looking into it. After hearing that it's open source, they get interested. They'll fly you out to their office to meet you in person. Awesome! You travel for basically a whole day to get there, interview the next, and travel back the rest of the day. You expected an interview when you got there, but things seemed really undirected. You lead out and fill in the space with the details about what your project can do for them. You worked hard to get there. You're not interested in wasting time. They're obviously surprised at how good it is. Things go well and you get along really well with them. You make it back home, and at this point things get officially weird. After all that, weeks of conference calls, an on-site visit. Imagine getting an email from the guy you were talking to saying he isn't technical and can't tell if you are any good. You have 50,000 lines of industry-relevant code that can be run and used, but he can't tell. He wants you to interview with a friend of his or something. All this stuff is taking a lot of time. A few days to set up a call, days of travel, weekends, weeks have gone by. And since you thought there was an interest in the open source code, you've allocated all your free time to writing unit tests, proofreading code, and documenting. Finally, after weeks and weeks, the guy makes you a deal. The contract he sends doesn't say anything about open source software. In fact, it's a standard catch-all document. We own everything before, after, body, soul. What the frick? So you spend a few days getting an actually relevant contract that reflects the details of what is happening and jump on a call the next day. Yeah, so all that work you've done, we want it. So that when we sell our company, it's worth more. But we won't pay you for it. And we won't hire you if you don't give it to us right now. So much for open source. You've been had.